This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview, allow it to clash into the culture around us, and when it's done, hopefully we say something that will be educational, entertaining, enlightening, and hopefully enhance your journey of faith. How about that? Yeah. I'm Jeff Dixon. I'm sitting here, but over there is the real show. He's the show right there. He's the one, the only, the saint, former professional wrestler, doctor extraordinaire, Chris Whaley. How you doing, Chris?
No, he is the one. He is the man, I mean the man.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's the way I look at it, yeah. I think
we're both on the show, so that's good.
Listen, I think you're the greatest pastor in America.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I do appreciate that, but I think
you are.
I think we're the greatest two hosts on this show.
The only two hosts.
Doesn't matter. We're still the greatest two on this show, aren't we?
No, we do this, and you just let me hang around.
Listen to that.
That's all he does. That's all he does.
Well, speaking of hanging around, okay, America as a country has been hanging around for about 250 years now, right?
250 years, that's exactly right.
Previous episode, we kind of kicked it off, and we were just kind of bantering about the greatest events in history and why we thought so, and making, some spiritual application or thoughts about it.
Yeah.
And so we had so much fun, and 250 is a long time, a lot of history. We're going to do it again.
Oh, yeah. And maybe again.
We can't tell. So this is America 250, the next episode.
Yeah.
Whatever number that is. And we'll be back right after this, and we'll take off and take a quick trip through history. Don't go anywhere. Hi, during this short break, I want to give you a chance to get to know Chris Whaley just a little bit better. Chris, who's the most famous person or one of the most famous people you've ever met?
One of the most famous people I've ever met was The Rock. Of course, his name is Dwayne Johnson, but I was in a dressing room and I was going to wrestle that night, and in walked Rocky Johnson and Dwayne. And I was talking to Dwayne, what are you going to do with your life? And he said he was going to be a wrestler. And I never made a lot of money in wrestling. And I said, you're an idiot. You don't want to wrestle. You want to play football. You make millions of dollars. He says, no, I'm going to be a wrestler like my dad. I said, you're an idiot. And then the next year he went to the WWF and he made $6 million, wrote a book, became a bestseller, and now he is the #1 box office star in the world. So it's a good thing he didn't listen to my advice.
And if you want good advice like that to how to live your life, contact us. This is Chris Whaley.
Hey, welcome back to The Clash, where we're looking at some historical events that have really helped to make our nation. 250 years, that's a long time, Jeff.
It's a long time,
yeah.
It's over me.
We've covered several, but we haven't even scratched the surface. No. But I think one that I would come up with next is the Great Depression.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about, my goodness, the stock market crashed.
Yeah.
There were bread lines and soup lines, and the people that were out of work. I mean, you think about the number, Jeff, and think about today. I think they said on the news Friday of this past week that there are more people working in America than at any other time. So there were probably more people out of work than any other time in our nation.
Yeah, and when you think about that too, I mean, we think through over the course of our lifetimes, our audience's lifetimes, there have been moments of American history that have been rougher, tighter, depressions, not a Great Depression, but, depressed, recessions, battling inflation. I mean, cost, and everyone knows, I think, can relate to, we got to tighten up our budget a little bit, or gas prices are too high, or gas isn't available, depending on the era you lived in. But you have to. I mean, when you go back to that era, and again, I can just read about it. I see the images and the pictures. But how desperate did those times have to feel to people? I mean, they had to feel like America was going to come to an end, right?
Yeah. Well, it changed. It changed government. It changed economics. It changed family survival, and it changed. I think even our national priorities. It just had a grip, and something I hope we never go through again.
Oh no, no one's go through that again. Yeah, because. I mean, the great benefit is always in hard times you learn who you can trust and you lean into God, which is always a good thing. But you don't. Those are the era that I would never want to revisit.
Yeah, if there was a spiritual side of that, I think it would be something like endurance during hardship.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Well, let me ask you one that ties into that because it's not necessarily on my list. But for a lot of people, out of that Depression era came the New Deal. Now, for a lot of historians, that does pop up on the list of big events or the biggest events, greatest events.
What was the New Deal?
Well, I don't know. Let's unpack that a little bit. It was that the programs and reforms that FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, put into place toward the end of, if I remember right, the Great Depression that supposedly were designed to spark economic growth, but also help sustain and provide for Americans who had lost everything. If I'm thinking about that right, am I missing something there?
No, okay. I was depending on you wholeheartedly.
Okay, so I couldn't really be wrong. That's good to know. I think back. Not to be a political animal, but man, I can't imagine a worse era to be president in.
I wouldn't want it to be.
No. At the end of the day, history, sometimes is kind, and history sometimes is overly critical. But you're trying to put into place things that that's uncharted territory. Good, bad, right, wrong, and no matter what you think of it today.
Right.
Again, born out of desperation.
Right.
I have to do something. We have to figure out how to do this.
Right.
That would be tough.
Oh. Yeah,
and I would think it really does have to be one of those big turning moments, though,
right?
Because it started some programs that to this day in our lifetime still exist, and maybe probably not as good a shape as they need to be. We probably should have gone back and re-looked and revamped, but that's not the way government tends to work.
Yeah. How about 9/11?
Huge day. Interesting enough, I just helped my son with an interview. For his history class, and they were assigned to talk to a parent and interview them about September 11th, where they were, what they felt, what they thought, what they thought was going to happen next. Had they ever heard of Al Qaeda before? Had they ever heard of Osama bin Laden before the event? Very interesting. To go back with some kids of our age group that didn't know anything about that other than history books. And to know that we lived history. Yeah. So I agree. I think big day. Where were you at on September 11th?
I was at my last church. We had staff meeting that morning. And after the staff meeting, my administrative assistant, Miss Ann, Miss Ann, she said, you ought to turn your TV on. And she said, we have been attacked. And I was like, what? She said, yeah, turn the TV on. When I turned the TV on, Jeff, when the TV came on, I saw the second plane hit the second tower. That was the moment the TV came on. When I said, what just happened?
Yeah.
And, you think of, oh my goodness, on that day, almost 3,000 souls going out into eternity, and, two of the landmark buildings in our country in rubble. And that was a pretty difficult day. And I don't know how it was here. Of course, you weren't here then.
I wasn't.
It was still Covenant Church. But attendance spiked.
Oh, that weekend after.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, again, caught off guard. It could never happen.
Right.
And we went in that moment from feeling like our ocean borders kept us safe.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden we weren't safe anymore. And again, that whole, are there more attacks coming? Every plane is grounded.
Right.
President Bush is trying to get back to Washington, and he got Secret Service trying to keep him safe, so he's not coming back to Washington yet. He's kind of doing this little springboard across the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember watching, after hearing about it as it started to unfold, turning on the telecast.
Right.
And so we had large screen TVs, big old large screen TVs back in our worship center back in the day. And I remember watching them and seeing the second plane hit that other tower, and thinking, this is something we've never seen and may never see again, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you think of terrorism, our national identity, the things that took place. I mean, it changed foreign policy. It changed the security of our nation. Patriotism, kind of took a spike, and a lot of cultural anxiety during that time.
What do you think the spiritual lessons were from that day?
Well, I think the one that jumps out at me is courage in the midst of fear.
Yeah.
Kind of like David and Goliath, and but that would be it. You got a different one?
No, I think part of it is a spiritual lesson that's easy to do now in the aftermath of it is, because you mentioned, church attendance spikes. When you hit the bottom or you're terrified, you turn to God.
Right.
But how quickly, we forget, and how quickly we kind of drift away from that and lose that patriotism, lose that, I need God, I'm afraid. We lose that intensity. And in one way, I mean, that's not a bad thing, because again, resilience is a good thing. So to be able to process it and move forward, that's a spiritual dynamic to it. But I think, missing the lessons of the importance of, the why it happened. I mean, we were attacked because, freedom was under attack. But why was freedom under attack? Because we're the only place like that in the world. Well, why are we the only place like that in the world? Because we're the only nation on the face of this earth that's built on Judeo-Christian principles. And so there are always enemies out there. They're going to be after, and all those lessons kind of get, lost or kicked aside the longer we kind of move through history and move away from it, which is, interesting.
Yep. And, it's made us nervous. I mean, when I get on a plane, Jeff, and, I see people that look Islamic, I get nervous. You?
No, but I get nervous, and I really don't, because I'm nervous getting on a plane anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of drug me up to get me on a plane, because again, I told you my verse about airplanes, right?
Yeah.
Lo, I'm with you always.
Right.
And so I don't see any need to be flying in anything that's like a Coke can that can be crushed like that. I'm not seeing.
Well, I tell you what bothers me. The last thing you see before you take off is terminal.
Yeah, why would I go anywhere? I have to leave through the terminal, right?
Yeah, that'll get you. Yeah.
It's functional, but so I can tell you that I've never worried about a terrorist attack, a hijack, or anything on an airplane, because I'm always just so worried about the act of flying on an airplane. So
you're worried about crashing.
Not crashing, just stopping. I'm just stopping as I fall.
Stopping very quickly.
That really consumes me. So.
All right, what's your next one?
Well, I mean, I'm jumping around. Let me jump out of politics, and out of a disaster event. Let me go forward to something that we got to see in our lifetimes. 1967.
1967, the Beatles?
No, it could have been.
Yeah.
The first Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Green Bay and Dallas, wasn't it?
Oh, now you're going to say that. I don't know who was in the first Super Bowl. I thought it was Green Bay and Kansas City, is it not?
Yeah, maybe it was. I know Dallas was in one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green Bay won the first two, right?
Green Bay, yeah, first star, right?
Yeah.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Again, a turning point.
Yeah.
Because now, I forget how many Super Bowls were down the road, but it became as a cultural moment. That National Football League having that first Super Bowl because all of a sudden, that's an event that became an event larger than life.
Oh,
that continues to expand and balloon and mushroom. And of course, being a sports guy, I can remember watching that first Super Bowl, not knowing what a Super Bowl was.
Well,
What was going to be so super about it, right?
I've been in pain and suffering for a lot of years because I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, and we'll still be in suffering for a lot of years probably. But
But there was a good time. There was a good era of history.
Miami went to 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah, right.
They lost to
Dallas.
Yeah, lost to Dallas. They beat Washington, and then they beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
And
And one of those years undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated. But those games, Jeff, were like in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. Now it is a huge event.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a big event the night before the Super Bowl, and commercials during Super Bowl.
Well, that's the best part, right?
Oh my goodness! How much do they cost?
Yeah.
30-second commercial with millions of dollars.
And I wonder too, did they know in '67 when they did that? I mean, did anybody have that kind of vision to know? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's huge. And so, sometimes out of really humble and strange beginnings, because that first Super Bowl was a little tough to put together, might come an event that changes everything.
Yeah, it did.
But speaking of changing everything, we need to change up gears a little bit. We need to take a break.
We need to take a break.
So we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back right after the break to continue our look at America 250, the other episode.
Jeff, did you ever, in your wildest imagination, think that one day we would have this great TV show called The Clash, and you could actually buy T-shirts and stuff that had The Clash on? Did you ever think that possible?
Yeah, when I was 3 years old, I had a vision.
You did?
That was going to happen one day. No, I'm just kidding. I never thought about that. So.
Hey, it's just awesome, man. I mean, of course, the tagline, "Don't tap out."
Yeah.
On the hat.
Look at that.
Yeah. And then on the back of the hat, it's got The Clash. And I don't know, what you got?
Well, I've been sitting around thinking about, how could you think about The Clash 24 hours a day and at the same time hydrate?
Oh, wow.
This cup right there, look at there.
How awesome is that?
That's a mini tumbler right there.
Wow.
But you could get a coffee cup.
You know what? I need to get one of those to pour the coffee into it so it keeps it.
You also could get a mug though. If you're a mug guy, you can get a mug.
Yeah.
You get a big taller tumbler that you can walk around. And so when you're walking around drinking stuff with our logo on it, people say, "What is The Clash?" And they can tell you all about the TV show.
So you need to look at that little QR code down at the bottom of your screen, and you just get your camera, your phone out, you put it on camera, and you look at that, and a little thing will come up, and you touch that, takes you right to the store. It's so easy, even I can do it.
There you go.
Welcome back to The Clash. We're looking at America 250 and
history.
We've looked at a lot of events and all. We haven't looked at people. And I'm just, I haven't hit that part of my list yet, but let's do some people.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier the Beatles. How did that change us?
Well, I mean, it changed. It was part of it led what was called the British invasion of music, right?
Yeah.
And so the Beatles kind of ushered in that whole. Today it's pretty mild, right? That pop rock. I mean, not hard rock, but pop rock, and really bumped somebody else who was really an American cultural icon off of the radar for a while, which was Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah, Elvis. I was going to bring Elvis up.
Who basically revolutionized what we know today as rock and roll. And even now today, they call him the king of rock and roll, his stuff was mild compared to what was going on. But Elvis was much more of a gospel blues country singer when he started. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he disappears from the world stage and then comes back in with the first worldwide concert, that concert from Hawaii.
And I saw both of them on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you saw them both in person? Yeah.
No, I saw them both on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
I remember that Sunday night when the Beatles were on there.
Yeah.
I remember, and Elvis, they would only show him
from the waist up.
From the waist up.
Because of the censors and
Yeah.
The way he was whipping up the crowd, and
Yeah.
and interesting enough with Elvis, one of the groups that came out, or one of the strongest waves of opposition against Elvis Presley was the Christian community.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, they hated the guy.
Oh yeah.
The devil was in his music.
Oh yeah. It was the devil.
The nation was going to fall apart because of Elvis Presley.
Yeah. Yeah. The Waterboy's mom, she was leading it.
Yeah. So I mean, and you think back now in history, goes back, and of course remembers Elvis as an icon, and looks back, and it wasn't nearly as crazy as people were saying it was, and it didn't lead to the decline of American culture. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, again, I'm an Elvis fan, so can you imagine being, what was he, early 20s, and getting that kind of press? I mean, he was going to be the reason that America fell apart.
Oh yeah.
Because he sang songs.
Yeah. Our moral fiber is just split.
Yeah, nuts, right? And sadly, the Christian community leading that charge. I mean, you hear some of those press conferences or see some of those news clips, and I'm sorry, just because you have access to a way to get news out, maybe you shouldn't. Because again, that's I know people think that about this show, by the way. But just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? And there's some stuff on there that, man, I years later you look at it and go, wow, that's just so narrow. And I mean, again, I'll give them props. They were well-meaning, but certainly misguided.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just a side note, is Elvis dead?
I heard he is.
I heard it too, but did he really die?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I did hear he was working at a car wash.
Yeah?
Yeah, I heard that one. Bill Bixby, remember Bill Bixby? Yeah, Bill Bixby had a lot of stuff to say about Elvis not being dead.
We've done some shows here on the Elvis conspiracy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Give me long enough, I could probably convince you he was alive. He didn't really die in '77. But neither here nor there. That's completely unrelated. But Elvis and the Beatles both were big. I mean, those are big turning points and icons in American history.
And I think one icon that is right down your alley that changed America was Walt Disney.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
amazing innovator, man from the Midwest.
Yeah, I still remember everything good came on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And you remember, we had church on Sunday night, and so.
If your parents are spiritual, you missed some of the shows.
Yeah. But we had family down at the end of our street. They were the only family on the street that had a color TV.
Oh, they're popular.
Oh yeah. So everybody go over there.
Yeah.
When Disney came on, so you see all those colors.
Sure. Well, and talk about a pioneer and innovator, right? I mean, Disney filmed all of the shows in color before color TV was mainstream. Because he knew that one day it would be, or believed it would be. And so when you see Disney stuff that most people saw in black and white, he had filmed it in color. And so as soon as it was available, people saw it in color. Right. Crazy. I mean, talk about that, man. Revolutionized entertainment.
Yeah. Well, you're probably a walking library about Walt Disney. I mean, you just...
I know a lot of useless stuff.
Well, you know a lot of stuff, but he really was. He was all about the family.
Yeah, he was.
He was all about the family and making sure, everything. I love that carousel of progress at Disney World, that goes around. You've seen it, I'm sure you have. And of course, he took that to the World Fair. And they say that more people have watched that than any other theatrical event
in America.
Or
in history, in world history.
Yeah, in world history.
Yeah, and contrary to popular belief, because again, conspiracy theories are nuts. Walt Disney was not anti-Semitic.
No.
He wasn't racist.
No.
He wasn't anti-woman. That's just people being bad historians and not reading history right. So, and just as a side note, they're putting Walt Disney in the Carousel of Progress.
Are they?
An animatronic Walt Disney will now be the new host of the Carousel of Progress when they do the next refurbishment. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's coming here to Walt Disney World in Central Florida.
Wow.
So come see us when you're here, and we'll go out there with you.
Can't wait to see
I got a name for you.
Who?
This guy's made a comeback, though. Alexander Hamilton.
Wow,
yeah. I mean, come on, right?
Wow, where's my cell phone? Yeah.
I know. Hamilton, comes along, first Secretary of Treasury, architect of a lot of the economic policy that shapes our culture. So part of that founding father group loses in a duel.
Yeah.
Gets killed in a duel. And lost in the history of Hamilton is, he had survived other duels because dueling was just commonplace, it seems like. And then all of a sudden, Alexander Hamilton goes through this revisionist history because there's a Broadway show called Hamilton.
Hamilton, yeah.
A musical, right? Yeah. Rewritten, reimagined.
Well,
fair, not real accurate with history for the most part, but wildly entertaining.
Well, I haven't seen that show.
Hamilton?
That's why I wanted my cell phone so I can get all the facts.
Yeah.
So
no, and Hamilton is a show. It certainly has a certain slant and a certain lens that that it tells history through, as often happens with historical events. But it is wildly entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
And even for the stuff that got wrong, the stuff that they got right really does kind of outweigh it. And it gives you a different perspective, even though, it's hard to imagine Alexander Hamilton singing and everybody, his founding fathers singing like they did. I mean, you got to kind of stretch your imagination a little bit, but it's a great retelling of history.
Right. Yeah.
And it opened up a world, though, because it was based on a book, a huge, thick book about the life of Hamilton. So, I mean, it's not that it's a shot in the dark, or we're just going to wing it and make it up. I mean, they did a good job trying to make it as correct as they could. So, but yeah, Hamilton.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
Brown versus the Board of Education.
What went on in that?
Civil rights, law. It declared segregated schools unconstitutional, and it really, I think, accelerated the civil rights reform in our nation. Jeff, when you first started school, we were segregated.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, when I first started school, we didn't segregate until I was in high school.
Yeah, I was having to think back on it, but we were. I mean, I don't know what era where we weren't, but because we talked about civil rights even in the other episode, our first episode. Right. What a tough time.
Yeah.
I just, so much it seems like it's common sense, right, and human. And you wonder how in the world did a nation survive that?
Right.
That kind of thinking, right? But the great news is, I think we come back to that idea that God really has His hand on this nation. I mean, this nation, a great experiment and a great adventure. And so, again, over time, get it right. Certainly, we're not perfect, but we're the best thing going and blowing here on planet Earth, and so that matters.
Yep, Jeff, personally, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure there's been one or two in your life.
At least one or two.
Yeah. But, as a nation, we made some bad mistakes. As great as this nation is, we made some bad mistakes. But the great thing is we've overcome them, I think.
Yeah.
And regardless of what people say today, I think we've overcome a lot of that.
Well, I think the beauty, too, of America, we got to get out of this episode here in a second, but, we are... we are the greatest nation on earth. There's no doubt about it. I think God has a hand in the journey in this American experiment.
Right.
And it really is in so many ways. There's never been anything like it.
No.
And He's not done with us yet. I mean, we're still learning. Destiny. At least God has charted the course, but we have some choices to make. And that's part of the fun of America at 250 years. Well, we're out of time. We got to wrap this thing up.
It's amazing how quick that went. Yeah, it is.
And we still only have scratched the surface. There's so much more that's out there.
There's a bunch more. A bunch more. You want to do another?
Yeah, we should do another episode.
We can think about it and see what we say.
All
right. You ready for this week?
I am. So we need to get out of here.
It's going to be a great week, and you remember, as you go through this week, don't tap out.